government instituted the whole isolation policy. We began hearing reports of a mass epidemic, some unknown disease sweeping the country. The details were vague at first, nothing on the cause or transmission of the disease, only that it was highly contagious, and in most cases, fatal. Before the general public even had time to react, the government declared a state of emergency and ordered a mandatory vaccination program for our protection, they said. As it turns out, that was the beginning of our nightmare. The disease was a complete government fabrication, and the supposed vaccine they were injecting into everyone? In reality, it was a cyber virus developed by Daiwa. The virus has a mutating effect on the cells of the body. It alters their molecular structure and converts them into biometal, essentially turning us into machines from the inside out. There's no way to stop it. And to make things worse, the cyber virus was still early in its experimental phase.
What do you mean?
Daiwa didn't even know if it would work. It had never been tested on a large scale, so they turned Japan into their own private laboratory.
When it does work, the virus gradually progresses through the body until it finally reaches the brain. At that point, we become perfect androids under Daiwa's control. The speed of the process differs from person to person. Those of us who have yet to be fully assimilated, as best we can, we hold on to those fragments of our humanity that still remain. But even now, we can feel them slipping further and further away. It was 10...
Very interesting.
That just got triggered because of the Madonna thing, the video, and what people do by watching that video. What has happened to the families that lost their children at the Travis Scott concert? We haven't heard anything about that, have we? Weird.
It's been 2 months since the dogs have been on Maeve raw food, and I wanted to talk about...
Well, folks, today in headlines, Joe Biden is sparking controversy as per usual as he shakes the hand of a 2020 voter in front of a room full of people. And nobody was happier about it than Kamala Harris. Because all voters should be represented, right, Kamala? And a new medical report has confirmed that COVID-19 vaccines worked exactly as predicted. Yeah, if that means massive deception and a faulty product? You're spot on! Who are these scientists? They're amazing! And Putin has been accused of stealing 121,000 Ukrainian children and sending them to Russia for adoption. Stealing? But was it, or was it just Vladimir Putin coming across a child sex trafficking ring and then taking the children he found and disseminating them into safe homes?
I would believe that.
We'll never know! Also today, a new regenerative drug from MIT scientists could potentially reverse hearing loss. Just in time for the vaccine injured, right? How do they always know? And if you can't get enough of being pulled over for breathalyzers, the FDA has your answer. We can now breathalyze you for COVID! Yay! Now that's exactly what the world was missing, yeah? And in this headline, scientists are stumped, which isn't hard to do these days, by a mini epidemic in child hepatitis cases. Well, I'm sure since about 92% of the children in the UK have at least had one dose of COVID vaccine, I'm sure it's completely coincidental. And in the latest example of equity and inclusivity, Democrats mocked a Korean-American congresswoman's accent and then made misogynistic comments. Well, if that isn't equality, I don't know what is.
What is this?
And in conclusion today, an article that details how everything we know of the universe is wrong. I thought we weren't telling them about that yet. Well, folks,
Migrants arriving at the Capitol in Washington, D.C. You're taking a look at the photo right there. Texas Governor Greg Abbott said when people cross illegally into the United States from Mexico, he would be putting them on a bus and dropping them off at the U.S. Capitol. And that's exactly what's happening. You see it right there. He said the president is not doing enough to control the crisis at the border, and this is his response, sending the migrants directly to the Capitol. I want to know what you think about this. Go ahead and follow me right over there on TikTok. I'll bring you the news you may not see everywhere else. My name's Dave Bondi. I'm a news anchor. I'm a dad, a guy who keeps it real here in Michigan.
9 new COVID symptoms have been added to the official list, including sore throat.
Oh my God, 9 new symptoms? Oh, I gotta run out and get that vaccine. You know, the one with 9 pages of possible side effects.
9
Getting stronger. This is how legends are made. Above it all, untouchable. A new animal. This is how legends are. Getting stronger. This is how legends are made. Above it all, untouchable.
Now, I do want to talk about something. I actually went through this with Mike Adams in the third.
Why do you want the picture of my 2-year-old kid?
Why don't you stay away from it?
That doesn't answer my question.
Why don't you stay away from it?
Why do you want a picture of my...
Everything okay?
Check it in.
Let's go. I'm driving her crazy.
Okay, so...
There's a big difference between Instagram and TikTok. Look at this. For the past 100 days, I've been posting on both platforms. So let's dive into the analytics. We're going to look at the same 60-day time frame so that we make a fair comparison. Number 1, engagement. On Instagram, there were over 2,400 interactions with my reels, from likes to comments to shares. On TikTok, there were over 42,000. Wow. Number 2, new followers. On TikTok, over 8,600 amazing new people started following me. On Instagram, let's see, the net gain in followers was 6 people. Wait, what? Number 3, reach. On Instagram, over 34,000 people saw my videos, and about 33,000 of those were new people that didn't follow me. On TikTok, it was a different story. Just one video alone reached over 130,000 people. So from a creator's perspective, there's a big difference between the platforms. There's a big difference.
Hey, bud. How's that work right there for you? Huh? How's this work? It works? Normally you put the red one on the side here with the red line and the blue one on that side. That's how I always did it. How'd you go down the road like that? Huh?
Nighttime?
Yeah. At nighttime you put the blue one on this side at nighttime.
It's like, you gotta try to keep the time.
Yeah.
That's why,
Well, must have worked pretty good. I like that. Hey.
Mama always said I was born on the wild side. 1 foot in the flames and the other trying to walk the line.
I believe that we are in a time in life where the Federal Reserve is going to start to pressure the federal government to back a 40-year mortgage. So essentially you will see home payments, the interest portion, drop approximately 33%. What that will do is that will cause another housing boom, and it will get people into debt for a longer term, making them slaves to the lender for even longer. They want to get you into more financial slavery.
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Can I provide a definition?
Yeah.
I can't.
You can?
Not in this context.
So
I'm not a biologist.
It has taken 232 years and 115 prior appointments for a black woman to be selected to serve on the Supreme Court. Can you provide a definition?
The thing they will remember from the COVID crisis is this is the moment when everything went digital. And this was the moment when everything became monitored. That we agreed to be surveyed all the time. not just in authoritarian regimes, but even in democracies. And maybe most importantly at all, this was the moment when surveillance started going under the skin.
Whoa.
Because really we haven't seen anything yet. I think that the big process that's happening right now in the world is hacking human beings, the ability to hack humans, to understand deeply what's happening within you, what makes you go. And for that, the most important data is not what you read and who you meet and what you buy, it's what's happening inside your body. So we had these two big revolutions, the computer science revolution, or the infotech revolution, and the revolution in the biological sciences. And they are still separate, but they are about to merge. They are merging around, I would say, the biometric sensor. It's the thing, it's the gadget, it's the technology that converts biological data into digital data that can be analyzed by computers. And having the ability to really monitor people under the skin, this is the biggest game changer of all. Because this is the key for getting to know people better than they know themselves. I often give the example from my own personal life that I realized I was gay only when I was 21. And I keep thinking about the time when I was 15, 16, how could I have missed it? You know, something so important about myself should have been obvious, but I didn't know. Now, today, or in 5 or 10 years, any algorithm of Microsoft or Amazon or the government would be able to know such a thing when I'm 12 or 13, just like monitor what's happening in my body, what's happening to my eyes when let's say I see a boy and a girl walking on the beach. Where do my eyes focus? So this is the crucial revolution, and COVID is critical because this is what convinces people to accept, to legitimize total biometric surveillance. If we want to stop this epidemic, we need not just to monitor people, we need to monitor what's happening under their skin, their body temperature. Like we walked in here, we had to go through a body temperature test.
Even in Israel, it has become a national.
So at this point in development, what things are you being kept up by at night? Like what's the thing you're like, oh, we just need to, do this or this better. Or we really, I can't sleep because we haven't figured this out yet. Sorry? So at this point in development, what things are you being kept up by at night? Like what's the thing you're like, oh, we just need to, do this or this better. Or we really, I can't sleep because we haven't figured this out yet.
That was perfect.
Do you want to know why Christians are so susceptible to conspiracy theories? It's because we've been trained to see an enemy that most of the world doesn't even believe exists. And if you only knew what to look for, you would see him too. Do you want to know why Christians...
Maybe you guys already knew this, but I did not. This is news to me and it totally tripped me out. So we got George Bush and Stanley Armour Dunman. Okay, they are cousins. The reason this is so weird is because Stanley is also Barack Obama's paternal grandfather. Yes, he raised Barack Obama. They are related. He's also the cousin of George Bush. He has been related to 6 sitting presidents of the United States. His cousins include James Madison, Harry Truman, Lyndon B. Johnson, Jimmy Carter, George H.W. Bush, and George W. Bush. Through common ancestor Maureen Duval, a wealthy merchant who had migrated from Maryland in the 1650s, Stanley Jr. is related to former Vice President Dick Cheney as well. Here's Barack Obama with Stanley and his wife. It makes perfect sense of why Michelle Obama and George Bush were so close. Like they legit act like they're husband and a wife or like related. The way they're constantly hugging and kissing, and it's just weird. And here we are again. Bill Clinton, George Bush, Hillary Clinton, Obama, Michelle Obama, and who's that? Melania Trump. You guys are not even going to believe the stuff I found out about Trump. I'm still having a hard time with it, but I'll make that one next. Maybe.
Hey, good afternoon. My mom's sitting outside.
I have bulging discs in my lower lumbar, right at...
I do think this will be somewhat painful, and I'm not sure that I will actually be able to acquire it. And I should also say the intent is to retain as many shareholders as is allowed by the law.
You don't necessarily want to pay out 40 or whatever it is $1 billion in cash. You'd like them to come with you in the...
Yeah, but it's I mean, I could technically afford it.
I heard that.
I do think this will be somewhat painful, and I'm not...
So parents are starting to realize...
Your bank should never be a storage. Your bank is for transactions. Paying your rent, your light bill. You don't gain any interest there. Side note, did you know the bank doesn't even save its money in the bank? What compound interest is? All that is interest stacked on top of interest. Okay, but most Americans, they're just making a flat interest rate.
It has taken 232 years for a black woman to be selected to serve on the Supreme Court of the United States. But we've made it.
Well, according to the Washington Post, Biden helped to block the first black woman who was going to be on the Supreme Court. Number two, we've waited 232 years for you to get up there and be too woke to define what a woman is. Number three, I'm not celebrating anybody who chose to give the lightest sentence possible in 8 cases of child on and baby sex torture. And number four, child rapist molested second victim after Judge Jackson gave him a light sentence for failing to register as an ex-offender. Number five, Judge Jackson's nomination drew praise from groups that support access to abortion, including Planned Parenthood. We have no doubt she will work with the most pro-abortion administration in history to enshrine abortion on demand nationwide in the law. Because Democrats went from saying safe, legal, and rare to abortion on demand. 79% of Planned Parenthoods are in minority communities. They believe she's going to help them take out more black babies.
My son walked in on me while I was changing. I didn't have a shirt or a bra on.
Why you sagging your pants? I don't like how I feel on my waist. Like, I ain't jacking it.
I'm not even being funny, but as a man, and I'm not saying this to hurt your feelings, so don't take this no type of way. Keep your gun, put it away. I'm saying, but real talk, as a man, it's a poor representation of you. It actually gives a negative appearance of who you are. And it comes from prison. So the reality of things is people are going to look at you like you representing that culture. But as a man, you don't want people to look at you that way. And society period. And I don't know, this whole look has got blown out of proportion to the point where as a man, I have to be conscious and tell my young men like, yo, it's not a good look. And the reason why it's not a good look because, truth be told, as you walk out these doors again, the world will judge you based on everything you do. Whether you like it or not, they're gonna judge you. And me as an older guy, I gotta tell you the truth. Why you saying?
Well, another person who is passionate about free speech is Congressman Ken Buck, and he joins us now. Congressman, welcome to the show. While speaking at TED conference today, Elon Musk said this about the possibility of Twitter's algorithm being open source. Listen to this.
One of the things that I believe Twitter should do is open source the algorithm and make any changes to people's tweets, or if they're emphasized or de-emphasized, that action should be made apparent so that anyone can see that action has been taken. So there's no sort of behind-the-scenes manipulation, either algorithmically or manually.
Hey family, I hope everybody's having a blessed day. I want to
Amazon products you need, part 89. This thing can suck and blow. It's a tiny portable car vacuum that can also be used as a duster. Amazon products you need, part 89.
Well, I guess you're pissed at the government. I understand. It is a bitch. But the fat cats all use it. They give out more money than God. Every year, they give out an average of $25,000 or more to every family in the United States. That's cash you could use. You don't want to use it, they're not forcing you. And that's part of the problem. You got to do the work to find it.
Take this piece off here, and put it over here. Now you see, the United States is no longer in the middle of the map.
Right.
Now, I did this with a major record company in New York City, I think in 1970. And an older man stood up in the back of the room and said, "Now, Elliot, you've gone too far." I said, "What's your problem?" "You can't do that with the map." I said, "Well, actually you can." He said, "No, the United States isn't in the middle of the map anymore." I said, "The United States never was in the middle of the map. You need to realize this depends on how you draw your map." And then I pointed this little fact out to him. South America is actually 9 times larger than Greenland.
Even though it doesn't really look like it.
No, it is! South America is actually 9 times larger than Greenland.
It's crazy.
Now, according to your social studies teachers, what is the equator? Halfway between the North Pole and the South Pole on this map would be right about here.
Right.
And that means that Iowa has a semi-tropical climate. Well, you've been in Minnesota in the wintertime.
I've been in Iowa too. It's definitely
you know that it doesn't have a tropical climate. So you have to then introduce a real version of the map of the world. This is the world.
That's very good.
The Peters projection map. The sizes on this map are right. The shapes are distorted.
Wow.
Look at Greenland on this map. Right there. See it?
Yeah, it's really tiny.
See how small it is?
Right.
Look at it on the Mercator projection.
So why do they do that? I don't understand.
Why? Because the Pope commissioned Mercator to make a map that shows the spread of Christianity. So all the countries in which there are predominantly white people are larger than those in the southern part of the world, halfway between the North Pole and South Pole.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you have children going to school and they're seeing this map,
right,
they're going to take this piece.
You want to see what my life consists of? She's cooking dinner right now. I'm outside. I don't even know what she's making. Sea bass, I think. Every day. You want to see what
I've been around for years. I live with optimism. But to all you guys, all you youngsters who feel thwarted and put down and hopeless, believe me one thing. I've read someone, I can't remember whether it was in the Old Testament or I think it was a shaman. There was a drought. Cattle were dying, people were dying in the desert. And the shaman said, dig the ditches for the rain. They said, there is no rain. Dig the ditches and the rain will come. Now you non-believers may say, oh, that's nonsense. Well, believe what you want. That's the rational mind. I don't think the rational mind is working too well at the moment. It's the irrational mind, the subconscious. All my life, when I was a little boy, I dreamed of where I am now. I may have had a vision, I don't know. Didn't have much hope, but everything happened for me. And now I believe that we can condense time. We can pull it to ourselves. It's not about the future. Oh, I'm going to do something next year. It doesn't exist. Tomorrow doesn't exist. The next hour does not exist. It's all potential. But what we can do is drag the time into the present, now, into the solar plexus of our soul. Build the ditches. Whatever you want to do, believe it, believe it, believe it, even if you don't believe. Play the game of belief. Act as if you believe. That is power. That is sheer power. And it will happen. Believe you me. An old fool like me. It's worked in my life. It will work in yours. So never give up. Believe, believe, believe. I don't care if you're atheist or agnostic or anything. Believe, believe, believe. I've been around for years. I live with optimism. But to all you guys...
To open arms, but there's some mixed reaction from students just ahead. We're not live. Yeah. To open arms, but there's some mixed reaction from...
Has anyone else noticed that we hold children to a drastically higher, platform than we do adults? For some reason, we expect a 12-year-old to respect someone on a level that, if an adult and another adult said, those.
Whoa! Stop.
Meantime, we have taken this virus and put it into monkey and into hamsters.
Houseland isn't backing down. They're more afraid of offending radical activists than they are the families who buy those really, really expensive park hopper passes. Oh, that's fine. We're going to see how that all works out for Disney. Marketing sneakers or those goofy mouse ears to kids, that's one thing. But marketing complicated topics of sexuality and gender, that's grooming. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Joy Reid doesn't like that language. Sorry.
Conservative political operatives have figured out what riles up their base. The fake threat that progressives are trying to indoctrinate their children, to groom them to become gay or trans. These terms, indoctrination, grooming, predator, accusing innocent people of being pedophiles or being soft on pedophiles, it is all so a very specific trigger for a group that is sinking its teeth into our political discourse.
Mixed metaphors aside, whatever term you want to use to describe what they're doing, it's having a dramatic effect on our young people. How else do you explain that today 20% of Gen Z identifies as LGBTQ+, which is double that of millennials, 5 times more than Gen X, and 10 times those who identify as such among the baby boomers? Their Houseland isn't bad.
Enforcement capacity to settle scores on behalf of the head politician. Would that be an American system or third world system? Well, the Biden administration has just been caught spying on journalists in an effort to intimidate them out of reporting on Joe Biden's daughter's diary. That's true. And they've used Apple and Google to do it. Apple and Google have acknowledged for about 3 months, from December of 2020 to March of 2021, the DOJ issued them several subpoenas. The DOJ was seeking sensitive information of journalists employed by Project Veritas, which had dared to report on Ashley Biden's diary. Now, the company noted that the DOJ, quote, compelled Apple and Google not to disclose that they were providing the individual's private data to the government. This seems illegal. It's completely immoral. Talk about an abuse of power. Harmeet Dillon would know. She's this country's premier civil rights attorney and CEO of the Center for American Liberty. She joins us tonight. Harmeet, how can this be allowed to happen?
Well, it shouldn't be, Tucker. Thanks for asking me about this. Not only does it seem illegal, it actually is illegal. And we have learned that not only has the United States Department of Justice illegally been spying on our client, Project Veritas, through the 2 companies that you mentioned, Apple and Google, but Microsoft itself voluntarily a few weeks ago told us, after threatening to go to court to expose the DOJ doing the same thing to them, the DOJ finally backed down and told us that they sought 7 warrants from different judges in the Southern District of New York to spy on Project Veritas's emails. To date, it looks like Project Veritas has been spied on to the tune of 200,000 emails that the DOJ secretly collected, and by the way, also did not tell a federal judge who is overseeing the seizure of our clients' materials from journalists.
Wow. Enforcement capacity to set.
Here we go. He's going down.
Let's talk about it. So this house right here came out 38 days ago here in Dallas-Fort Worth with a listing price of $450,000. It closed yesterday with a sales price of $525,000. That's $75,000 over the list price. But guess what? I spoke to the agent. This home appraised for $454,000. $4,000 more than list price, $71,000 below the sales price. So you see, sellers are pricing their homes on the advice of their agents based on what they think it will appraise for. What's driving up these prices in this crazy market is that buyers are willing to pay so much more. This buyer signed an appraisal.
All right.